This is the part where Joe starts the service. Joe.
Hello. Good morning. There it is. Okay. Welcome to Meizon. We do know what we're doing. I promise. No, we really do. If you're new, my name is Joe. I'm one of the pastors here. I want to welcome everybody. We're so glad that you came to be a part of this gathering and all the things we're doing. If you are new, you're probably asking, what in the world is Meizon? It is a Greek word, and one of the meanings of that Greek word is greater. The whole point of this gathering, the whole point of what we do here is to create greater spaces for people to experience the love of Jesus. And so what we're going to do this morning, we're going to invite you, before we kick everything off, is to just take a moment and be present. So if you're comfortable, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and to take a deep breath. And as you breathe, just feel yourself, just draw yourself closer and closer into this moment. Whatever you brought in with you, you can lay down. You don't need to carry it this entire time. Continue to breathe, and as you do so, allow yourself to feel the movement of the Spirit. Take a few more deep breaths, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes and invite everybody to stand as we sing.
Took a breath, you breathed your life in me. You have been so, so kind to me. And oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99, and I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. When I was your foe, still your love fought for me. You have been so, so good to me. When I felt no worth, you paid it all for me. You have been so, so kind to me. no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, and lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. Oh no, there's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, and lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99, and I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, and lie you won't tear down, coming after me.
Just lift your voices up.
Overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99, and I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Unreserved, unrestrained, your love is wild, your love is wild for me. It isn't shy, it's unashamed, your love is proud to be seen with me. To be seen with me. And you don't give your heart in pieces. You don't hide yourself to tease us. You don't give your heart in pieces. You don't hide yourself to tease us. control, uncontained. Your love is a fire, burning bright for me. It's not a spark, it's not just a flame. Your love is light, and all the world will see. Yes, all the world will see. You don't give your heart in pieces. You don't hide yourself to tease us. You don't give your heart in pieces. No, no. You don't hide yourself to tease us. Your love's not fractured, it's not a troubled mind. It isn't anxious, it's not the restless kind. Your love's not passive, it's never disengaged, it's always present. It hangs on every word you say. Love keeps its promises, it keeps its word. It honors what's sacred, 'cause its vows are done. Your love's not broken, it's not insecure. Your love's not selfish, your love is pure. And you don't give your heart in pieces. Oh, and you don't hide yourself to tease us. You don't give your heart in pieces. You don't hide yourself to tease us. You don't give your heart in pieces. You don't hide yourself to tease us. And you don't give your heart in pieces.
Before we continue our service, I just want to recognize this moment. God loves you so much. And I know that there's people who've come into this space who don't know that or don't feel that or don't recognize that. But I just want you to know, in this moment, before we just take another step forward, God's love is so immense and so beautiful, and it's pouring out for you, no matter where you are right now. No matter what you think of yourself or what others think of you, no matter what the circumstances are that surround your life and the things that you're up against, God's love penetrates all of that and sees you where you are, and he calls you son, he calls you daughter, and he says, I'm here. and I'm with you, and he recognizes all of it, and he's with you in it. He doesn't hide. He doesn't keep himself from us. It's not a banana. It's not like the carrot on a string or like the whole, it's not any of those things. It's like he's with us, and he's here, and he's present. And so I just want to say that before we take communion, before we do anything else, just recognize that the presence of God is here, and it is love. And it is love for you where you are right now. So I hope you can soak in that moment as we continue our service today. We're going to take communion. So.
Good morning, Meizon. So good to see everyone. For those of you whom we haven't met, my name is David, and this is my husband, Brian. We're about to enter into the next phase of the service for communion. And I just got to say, I love these acoustic moments at Meizon. Like, I as a musician, I love big band energy, but there's something so beautiful when we can bring things down and just have these intimate moments. So beautiful job. And as I think about communion, I growing up in the church, communion for me was always, I think, once a month, maybe, if that. And I don't know, for me, it always felt like this big, intimidating sometimes thing. And it could be just that I was younger or just figuring out the Christian thing. But something I really appreciate about being at Meizon is that we do it every week. And there's something about that I think makes it a bit more tangible, and it brings it down to earth a little bit. And so I've just been really grateful for that. And just to have this moment where I can ease my mind and just have a quiet moment and just remember what Jesus asked was, remember me, and no matter what's going on outside, we know who our King is, and we know that in him, many of us have found peace and joy, and whatever it is that you're looking for, you can find it in him. So with that, we welcome all people to the table, and our communion is non-alcoholic and gluten-free. As the song plays, you'll be welcome to come down the aisle. You're more than welcome to take communion at the table or at your seat. And as you exit to the sides, we do have some baskets for the cups. And at the end, kids are dismissed to Meizon Kids after communion. And with that, I'll hand it over to Brian to lead us in the prayer.
We welcome all people to the table as the Lord welcomes us. For this is the table not of the church, but of the Lord. It is made ready for those who love him and those who want to love him more. So come, you who have much faith, and you who have little. Come, you who have been here often, and you who have not been here long. You who have tried to follow, and you who have failed, come, because it is the Lord who invites you. It is his will that those who want him should meet him here. So at this time, I invite you to join me and say the prayer behind me, or to say one of your own. God, we confess that we have sinned against you in thought, word, and deed, by what we have done and what we have left undone. We have not loved you with our whole heart. We have not loved our neighbors as ourselves. We are truly sorry and humbly repent. Christ, have mercy on us and forgive us, that we may delight in your will and walk in your ways. To the glory of your name, amen. In the name of Jesus Christ, your sins are forgiven.
Come all wealthy, come receive it. To the table come today. Come all broken, come all needy. Come all poor and come all slaves. Come all rulers, come be seated. Come all sinners, come all saints. Come to the table from near and far. Come from the shadows. Come out of the dark. There's room at the table. We saved you a seat. Come to the banquet. Come join in the feast. Every race, every nation, come all rebels, come all gay. From the fringes come to Jesus, to a table full of grace. To the table come and stay. Come to the table. Come eat and drink. There's no inner circle. Come dine with the King. Recline at the table. Come let down your guard. You're never a stranger. Just come as you are. Come be whole. Come be loved. Come accepted. Come now, come. Come be whole. Come be loved. Come accepted. Come now, come. Come be whole. Come be loved. Come accepted. Come now, come. Prepared is the table. We're ready to feast. The party is waiting. There's more still to feed. The harvest is ready. Go fill every seed. Go live out the mission as a kingdom of priests. Go live out the mission as a kingdom of priests.
So God, we just thank you for this moment that we get to gather together and be here in this moment with you. Lord, leading us to your heart, leading us to your truth, Lord, and leading us to your life. And so God, I pray that you would continue to speak and to move in our hearts. And Lord, that you would be with us as we continue in our service today. We worship you in your name. Amen. Y'all can take a seat.
So I get to come up here before our speaker and talk to you guys about something that everybody loves to talk about: money. I've been in the church for a very long time. My earliest memories are literally from children's church. So when I say I can't remember a time in my life when I wasn't part of the church, I literally mean I can't remember a time in my life when I wasn't a part of the church. One of the most annoying aspects of the church for me growing up was whenever somebody got up here and talked about money. And it wasn't because it was about money, but it was because it was so manipulative, right? And I think that we can all remember moments or seasons or churches that have all participated in those things. One of the things that when the conversation, for those of you that don't know, I helped lead a church called Shift, and we merged about last year, but the whole year last year. And one of the things that we aligned with was the fact of transparency. Was just like, here's all of the things, here's what we want to do with all the gifts that have been collected. And there's something powerful, not only about transparency, but there's also something really powerful about the collective good that can happen when things are pointed in the right direction, right? And I'm not going to ruin anything. I'm just telling you now that there's going to be a really good example that's going to happen later that shows you the collective good that can happen when you have things like transparency and when you have a heart that's in the right place. That's all I'm going to say about it. And I'm going to say one more thing, that the only reason things like this that you're going to see later happens is because everybody throws in together. Because everybody understands, like, it's not just about the lights. Yes, that has to get paid and stuff, but it's about the good that can happen outside these walls when everybody is on the same page, right? So I'm just going to leave it at that. You'll understand what I'm talking about, and I'm going to say thank you in advance for the things that not only that you have helped us do, but that you're going to help us do this week, all right? I'm just going to leave it at that, all right? I'll shut up, and I'm going to turn it over to Zach, who is going to kick off our compassion series for this week. So, Zach.
Test. There we go. Yay. It's my first, I always use that mic, and they're like, no, you get the fancy mic today. So it's excited. Well, I'm really, really excited to see all of you here today. It's great to see so many smiling faces, especially in the climate that we live in today. And I want to give you a little background before I jump into the service today. As some of you who were here last week heard me say this will be the first time I preach since I came out over 5 years ago. And to give you more context, I used to preach all the time in the closet and all over the place. You know, I did both formally in churches and informally for a leadership company that I spoke for in many different countries. I think it was in 32 different countries I spoke in, doing a lot in other languages, interpreting other preachers into the native language of the country, or being interpreted into languages that I didn't speak. And that was what I felt was my calling, right? I felt like God really had equipped me for that. And then I came out. And as those of you who have, which many of you in the room have, you know it's not fun. There's a lot of trauma and hurt. And I can't start already because then I'll never stop. The waterworks. But as a lot of you can probably relate, I've had this itch, you know, just throughout the years since I came out. And I've kind of scratched that itch with service hosting here at church and public speaking for work and just getting out and teaching people and loving on people. But I just want to say I'm really grateful for the compassion this church has shown to me and my queer family. It doesn't go unnoticed by any of us. And we're just really thankful that we have, as Priscilla will laugh at this, and Neil and Sarah, we have our straights that we can count on. Love you too. But anyway, okay, so today I get to kick off our 2-week compassion series, and I'm going to call this message, What's in Your Hands? And I like that this week, you know, each week our host has a different topic to speak on, whether it's groups or finances or, you know, the things we're doing in the community. And I host every 4 weeks, and I actually asked Kevin to take me off the finance week. I was like, put me on a different week. I hate talking about money. And of course, now I'm talking about compassion today. But it's funny how the things you get asked to teach on are usually the things you're working on the most in your own life and the things you're learning about the most. So I want to reiterate, before we jump into any scripture, I want to reiterate that if you were here for Vision Sunday, if you weren't, I'd highly encourage you to watch it online. And every Sunday since the beginning of the year, we've been talking about this upside down model for church. And what we mean by that is we don't want to program your experience. I think a lot of us who were brought up in the church, we can relate on the trauma of having a very programmed experience and not having a safe place to live our own experience, if that makes sense. And so as a church, Meizon, we are really trying to flip the script and say, hey, we want to create the space for you to experience life and for you to experience compassion and for you to, I love how, I don't know if it was David or Brian, but they said up here, either you can repeat after, read the words on the screen or say your own prayer. We want you to pray. We want you to serve. We want you to go out and love on people and live a life of compassion. So another thing that is really important to realize is that compassion is a practice. So just like any doctors in the room have a practice, right? It's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect. We're never going to be perfect. None of us in leadership of the church would ever say that we're good at this or that we're perfect at it, but we're all working towards that. So before I jump into my first slide, I want to ask you what you think compassion is. Don't put it up yet. What do you think compassion is? And you can just shout it out. Kindness. Empathy. Understanding. Anything else? Humility. Humanity. Say it again. Effort. Grace. Man, these are some good ones. Well, we can throw the first screen up. I want you to kind of think on this thought here. Compassion is your pain in my heart. Compassion is your pain in my heart. And let me kind of unwrap that a little bit, because compassion is, if we look back at the Latin roots, actually, it comes from two words, cum, which means with, and passio, which means to suffer. So quite literally, in the Latin meaning of the word, it is to suffer with. It's not to fix, not to rescue, not to maintain a distance from. It's not to change someone. It's to suffer with that person. And empathy, I think, is probably the one that hits closest to that. But what we're going to talk about today, and actually I'm going to preach out of Mark 6, verses 30 to 44. And the word for compassion in this passage, and actually all throughout the New Testament, is, and I'm going to try not to butcher it. It's in Greek, it's splognitomai. Splognitomai, is that right, Joe? Joe helped me at the beginning. He said the shift people will know that word because I love that word. But splognitomai is a messier word. It's talking about your guts. It's talking about quite literally your intestines. And when we talk about Jesus showing compassion towards someone, it's a physical drive. It's a messy, scary, risky drive to love on that person, to teach that person, to help that person, to suffer with that person. So I want to keep that in mind as we jump in. Let me see here. I want to, before we go to the next one, I was kind of developing this this message, and I was like, man, there's so many things I could say, and I only have 35 minutes, and I don't know how Miranda does all she does in 7.5 minutes flat, but I am not that person, so I'm going to try to stay within my bounds today. But I do want to kind of take us back to that thought of compassion not being about pity, not being about fixing, not being about distance. It's about closeness. And so when a lot of times when we think of Compassion Week, we're thinking of what kind of money can we give away, right? Or maybe what kind of time. But it's really presence that I want to focus on today. And, I was thinking about our kids, and we have a lot of kids. For those of you who don't know us, we have 8 at the moment. It changes, it seems, on a weekly basis. But we have a baseline of 8. So we have a lot of experience to teach from. And one of the things that, one of my favorite stories, actually, as I was thinking about my kids and thinking about ways that they've shown compassion, is my now 10-year-old, Micaiah, when he was first in school, first in kindergarten, a couple weeks after he had started school, I was trying to pull stuff out of him. Like, tell me about your friends. Tell me about what you're learning at school. Tell me about, he called her his bestie. I'm like, tell me about your bestie. And he's like, so he tells me her name. And of course, me being the categorical, I'm like, that's not a white name. Cool. Is she black? Is she, I wanted him to define her to me. I wasn't being racist. Please don't hold it against me. But you know what he said? And this resonated with me and stuck with me ever since. He looked up and he's like, Dad, she's just people colored. And it just hit me that as kids, we don't think in categories. We don't think in biased, either subconscious or conscious bias. We think in compassion words, right? And so as I was thinking through, how many of you guys are on Instagram or TikTok? Okay, how many of you have seen the very popular, hundreds of videos are out there on this, but there's really popular reels of babies that, 1, 2, 3-year-old, maybe toddlers, that will get sat at a table between their parents, and then there's plates over some kind of snack, right? And they intentionally, one of the parents doesn't have a snack, and the baby has 2. And so what they do is they go 3, 2, 1, and they lift up the plate. And almost instantaneously, as soon as the child recognizes that one of the parents doesn't have something, either they burst into tears first, or they just grab it and put it over in their parent's plate. And that's just a really good picture of what compassion is as a child. We don't have to learn compassion. We have to relearn compassion. Because as a society, and I was talking to Matthew yesterday about this, that we as a society the American dream has programmed us against compassion, right? We're programmed to go out, get a good job, work a lot, make a lot of money, be responsible with that money. How many of you guys know that a lot of times fear and hoarding is disguised as responsibility and stewardship? And as a church, as a community, we have so much potential to go out and help people. So we unlearn compassion before we relearn it. So I want you to kind of think about that. And I have a couple pictures just to show you for the awe effect. This is my kiddos. My Micaiah is the boy. Obviously, this was years ago, but we were walking down a trail and he fell. And Taylor, who's a year and a half older than him, picks him up and hugs him. And I was just like, isn't it funny that if you think of any kid in your life, if somebody around them starts crying or gets hurt or even an animal, what is the kid going to do? Are they going to walk the other way? No, they're going to go and try to help, even if it's just giving him a kiss or hugging on him. And that's truly what compassion is. It's not fixing it. It's just coming back to that presence. The next picture is actually of my daughter in Haiti. I took Taylor, who's now 12, going on 37. She was 4 at the time, and I had been going to Haiti year after year, and I was leading a trip of 16 adults and youth to Haiti one year, and I was like, I really want to take Taylor. And of course, there was a lot of feelings around that, because Haiti's not necessarily the safest place to take a 4-year-old. But I took her, and it was so funny as I was going on this trip, because most of the adults and youth I was taking had never been anywhere outside the United States. And so taking them, they were very averse to the lack of hygiene or the mental disabilities or kind of I don't know, if you've ever been to Haiti, you know what I say when I mean like the evil feel. Like there's just an evil feel in certain communities and neighborhoods. And so, these adults were really having a hard time. And Taylor, she'd just go and sit in the dirt, play with the kids, love on people, be with people. We had a little secret. I said, hey, if I shake their hand, about adults, because I'd been there several times. I'm like, if I shake their hand, it's the first time I'm meeting them, so you can shake their hand, but we don't know them yet. We don't know if they're safe yet. But if I hug them, they're fair game, And she took that to heart, and it was really crazy to watch as the leader of the trip, the adults and teenagers model their behavior after the 4-year-old. And how beautiful that was to see that compassion was so simple, but we have it almost worked out of us. I'm actually studying right now, and one of the things that in my psychology class right now, I was just learning, ironically, last week about physiological and psychological needs and drives that we have, inherent needs and drives. And one of the things it was talking about, even with compassion, is that we are inherently compassionate. So the neural pathways were there at one point. And what I really want to challenge us with today, and Joe almost spilled it, so I'm glad he didn't spill it, but we have a really fun thing. It's really unique that we're going to do at the end of the service, so I hope you stay. Hope I don't offend you. Hope you don't run out. But it is incredibly important, if we're going to make a difference in the world like we say we want to rebuild the neural pathways, to strengthen the habits, to be intentional. Because how many of you guys know if you wait to be compassionate until it feels good, that's not going to happen, right? It's and we'll get into this later, but I want to set the scene for the scripture this morning. The disciples are coming back to Jesus. They're super tired. They had just been out doing a lot of good things, teaching, loving on people, and they come back to Jesus, and they were exhausted. And so I'm just going to read through this all the way from verse 30 to 44, and I hope it's on the screen. It should be. Yeah, there we go. And I'm going to use the Message version. I know some of you are going to hate me for it, but I just really love how it resonates, especially with this passage. So I hope you can bear with me. The apostles then rendezvoused with Jesus and reported on all that they had done and taught. Jesus said, "Come off by yourselves. Let's take a break and get a little rest." Footnote that for future reference. The first thing he says, rest. For there was constant coming and going. They didn't even have time to eat. So they got in the boat and went off to a remote place by themselves. Someone saw them going, and word got around. From the surrounding towns, people went out on foot, running, and got there ahead of them. When Jesus arrived, he saw this huge crowd. At the sight of them, his heart broke. Like sheep with no shepherd, they were. He went right to work teaching them. When his disciples thought this had gone on long enough, it was now quite late in the day. They interrupted, "We are a long way out in the country, and it's very late. Pronounce a benediction and send these folks off so they can get some supper." Jesus said, "You do it. Fix supper for them." They replied, "Are you serious? You want us to go spend a fortune on food for their supper?" But he was quite serious. "How many loaves of bread do you have? Take an inventory." That didn't take long. 5, they said, plus 2 fish. Jesus got them all to sit down in groups of 50 or 100. They looked like a patchwork quilt of wildflowers spread out on the green grass. He took the 5 loaves and 2 fish, lifted his face to heaven in prayer, blessed, broke, and gave the bread to the disciples. And the disciples in turn gave it to the people. He did the same with the fish. They all ate their fill. The disciples gathered 12 baskets of leftovers. More than 5,000 were at the supper. And in some versions, it talks about it being 5,000 men. So we can think probably 10, 15,000 if you're thinking of all the women and children. So this is a pretty cool miracle, right? Like, wouldn't it be cool to be able to just multiply food? I know some of us, I'm so sorry, Randy, I'm going to pick on you, but Randy knows how to eat, right? And to be able to multiply and be able to, 8 kids, how many guys know there's a lot of eating going on at our house? Sam's Club probably opened a new store because of us. But one of the things I want to pull into, and if we go to the next slide, where I said Jesus talked about rest first. Rest restores our capacity for compassion. The irony is not lost on me. For those of you who know me, I'm not really great at resting. I like to be doing. But as I was thinking through the service, I was thinking, rest is different for different people, right? I think when we think of rest, we think of just going out and taking a nap or going to sleep earlier or whatever. But what I want you to kind of think about to restore yourself, it doesn't necessarily mean sleeping. It means restoration, right? How many of you guys like a good book, just to curl up and read a book, or to watch a TV show, or to do a project? My rest is projects. My therapy is laundry, right? It's an induced therapy because there's always a lot of it. But, rest for each person is different. And Jesus, I don't want us to use this as an excuse. I don't want you to look at this and go, leave here today and say, Zach told me to rest. No, you got to understand the context. The disciples had just been out teaching, doing good, loving on people. And then Jesus said, before you do anything else, I want you to rest. And what is that significant? What is the significance of really having compassion on yourself first to be able to restore your capacity for compassion on other people? I know we talk about this in a lot of ways in our society. I think we're probably better at it than we have been ever. But really understanding that self-care and self-compassion is what gives us, it's not laziness. Notice they were coming back, from compassion business. Rest restores that capacity, and Jesus does not shame them for it. I think it's also good to note in this passage that plans get interrupted. So they get on the boat, and if you want to think geographically, nerd out with me a little bit, on the boat, it's 4 miles from where they get on the boat to on the other side of the lake to this deserted place they're going to. But there's towns all around, right? And from each of the towns, it's about 8 miles on foot to get to that same place. So they got on the boat, they start resting, they start going, and then somebody from the shore, gosh dang it, sees them and starts telling all the people, and they start running. Can you imagine? Running 8 miles to get to where Jesus is. And when they arrived, there was already a crowd. And so I really like how Jesus doesn't say, give us a minute. We need to recharge. It's really indicative of what compassion actually looks like in our lives, right? Needs don't happen conveniently, right? How many of you guys have kids and you get a call from school in the middle of your meeting, in the middle of the day, and they have a fever, or they broke their arm, or these are all real stories, I promise, right? And it's inconvenient, but need doesn't wait for convenience. Jesus feels this in his body, and when we talked about compassion, it's a guttural feeling of compassion toward these people, and then he gets to work teaching them. And so when we think about compassion, I think we need to think about Jesus not looking away. It's I think this could be a touchy subject, but how many of us have, found somebody in need and we just kind of look the other way? You ever been on the street, see an unhoused person, and you just act like you didn't see them so it doesn't feel awkward for them to make eye contact with you, right? Looking away. Jesus doesn't look away. I want to kind of lean into this tension of compassion because open-handedness feels risky. We're wired through our society to hold on to things, right? And when we think in a scarcity mindset, it's really easy to say, well, if I give them that last 20 out of my wallet, I might need it later, right? Or if I go to visit that person in the hospital, I might get sick. Or if I spend time with my kids outside playing a game, I might not get my assignment in on time. Or whatever, right? That scarcity mindset. And I think it speaks to me that we get into this decision paralysis. Even naming a little bit about what we're going to do a little bit later, it was hard to come to a decision easily about giving something away as a church. We had to have discussions and talk through it. And because open-handedness is risky. Right? And I think that, open hands feel risky. If sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I have this thought going in my head, if I can't help everyone, then I can't help anyone. Right? Did you ever hear the starfish poem? Right? Hate that poem because the starfish are really actually dead when you throw them back in the ocean. But the point is, if you can help one more, that whole life was just changed. Right? The ripple effect that you can have and the multiplication. So open hands feel risky. I think sometimes, most of you know we're a foster family, and I think sometimes people think that it's just all hunky-dory. And it's not. Fostering is hard. It is, it's exhausting. And it's heartbreaking. Because you have to give everything you have plus an extra 100%. And what I want to say, I'm not saying that to put us on a pedestal. I'm saying your calling is not meant to be easy. A calling means faithful. Compassion costs us something. And whether it's inconvenience, whether it's exhaustion, emotional input into anything that we're doing, whether it's having teenagers that want to talk at 1 o'clock in the morning. Everyone's calling is different. And I think truly everyone has multiple callings. You know, I feel called to speak, but I also feel called to foster, right? I feel like I'm going to, oh yeah, there you go. There's all our crazy kiddos. Actually, even one of them is not even with us anymore. So it just kind of, like I said, it ebbs and flows. But seeing the beauty that comes through the heartbreak, seeing the ripple effect of having a kid in your house for even 3 days and the difference you can make. And I was actually, I was debating whether I wanted to share about this. And then Heather, we went out for dinner with Dave and Heather the other night, and she said something about fostering not being her calling. And it kind of triggered me back to talking with my dad a couple months ago. And I was talking to my dad, and you know, we've had a really rocky couple years ever since coming out and getting divorced, getting remarried to a man, and so we were talking about fostering, and you know, it kind of got a little dicey because we were talking about like Christmas presents and what it actually meant for us to be fostering. Are they actually our kids? Are they not our kids? You know, what does adoption mean? And blah 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 blah. And he at the time said, you know, I just don't know. I don't get it. I don't know how you guys do it. I am definitely not called to that. And I took it. I took it as an affront to who I was, because there was so much trauma in that relationship. But you know, as I kind of thought through it through the last couple of months, and then as Heather said it again the other night, I was like, you know, it's okay. He was just being real. That's not his calling. And we can't expect everybody to have the same calling, but that's what makes it beautiful to be in this community and the potential that we have to go out and impact so many lives. So I want you to kind of think through this, and we're actually going to do, anybody ever do a Mentimeter before? Wow, just my husband. Okay. Okay, so we got another one. Okay, so Mentimeter is, you're going to pull up your phone, and you're gonna, actually you can go to the next slide first here. There's a QR code if you can get it. If not, you can just go to menti.com, menti.com, and then put this code in. I wanna invite us into some awareness, not necessarily action. This is anonymous, so when you answer it, nobody's gonna know what you said specifically, but you're not alone. And I wanna normalize this fear and hesitation, because it really is so important for us to understand that I want you to think about, and the question on it is, what's something you felt called to but haven't acted on because it feels hard or risky? And I want you to just kind of dig in and start thinking, what's that itch that I've felt toward something, whatever it might be? Something about helping somebody, something about being a blessing to somebody. And then go ahead and answer it on there, and I'll answer some of these, or I'll call out some of these so you guys can hear. Teaching, building bridges to the underserved in education, fostering, seminary, starting a Bible study, fostering, okay. I'm a great poster child for that. Working with the homeless, starting a ministry for teens, medical missions, fostering or respite caregiver, coaching, mentoring, training to become a therapist, becoming a therapist, pro bono work, public speaking, helping those starving in Gaza, being a true Christian, Bible study and praying, one-on-one service, not hurricane cleanup, but serving on an individual level, serving in youth group, volunteering in the community, being more generous, prophecy, nonprofit work, and more volunteering. Ooh. Getting more involved with my sister's kids, even though she's homophobic. Using social media to bring parenting and marriage after reconstruction. Helping the unhoused in a more concrete way. Animal rescue, sitting with someone who has experienced loss, supporting those who've divorced, being a sexual assault victim advocate, forgiving someone who hurt me, hosting communion, supporting people in a big life transition like coming out, being open, getting my scattered family together in one place. And it goes on and on and on, being a crisis counselor. Just want you guys to kind of take a second to let that all sink in. The amount of potential we have in this room. If we would lean in to the hard, lean into the risky, lean into intentionally making a difference. So, coming back to the text, because I'm a good preacher and I'm going to talk about the scriptures. The disciples, what do? They get practical. They do the math. They say, send them away. And it sounds reasonable, right? There's 5,000 people. How are we going to feed them? They're excited to be here, but we don't have anything to feed them with. And I want to challenge us to think of this as outsourcing compassion, right? And what does that mean? And I was talking to my little AI therapist, and I'm like, can you help me wrap my head around what outsourcing compassion is? And he was like, yeah, it's pretty simple, you idiot. He was like, it's basically saying, well, the church will help them, you know? Or there's an agency for that. Or they're on house, but they have Grace Marketplace, right? It's outsourcing compassion. And I think I was thinking through an example of this, and those of you who are Democrats are going to be super happy. Those of you who are Republicans, I hope, are happy because you have an open mind enough to be here and know you can learn from anyone, right? Everybody good with that? If you're independents, thank God for you. But how many of you guys remember the Sandy Hook shooting? And you can pull the picture up. I just want to think about outsourcing and thinking about our commander-in-chief at the time, Obama. He went and he made it a point to go and sit with every single family member of those 26 people that were shot. And he threw the kids up in the air, and he hugged the parents, and he cried with them. He was present with them. He couldn't fix it. He couldn't rescue them. He couldn't make anything unhappen. But he took a moment. Out of all the other things, he could. How many of you know he is the most resourceful person in the world to have been able to outsource that compassion? But he took the time to be present. And he took the time to show compassion in such little ways that made such a big difference. All right. So Jesus' disruption was you do it. He refuses the outsourcing, but he also doesn't solve the problem for them. Did you notice how Jesus didn't say, I'll just bring me some food, I'm going to multiply it? No, he said, what do you have? What are in your hands? What's the inventory? He said, don't send them away. But compassion is also participatory, right? He kind of puts his heels in and says, don't send them away. You do it. You feed them. What do we have? Right? And I think the miracle, really, I think everybody thinks the miracle is him multiplying the food. But I think the real miracle here is that he didn't send them away. That he was able to be present and show more compassion toward them. We can keep moving on here. Don't send them away. What do you have? Jesus doesn't ask for everything. I think in my own life, I think it's easy to kind of get to the point where you think, if I don't have everything to give, then I don't have anything to give. But you really don't know. How many of you guys have seen like a GoFundMe? And you're like, I really hope they reach their goal. But $5 would have helped them, $5 toward that goal, right? Or I really help, the unhoused person. I really hope that they're cold, or they're not cold tonight. But being able to live in that presence and get a little uncomfortable. I think this is not natural for a lot of us. I remember as a kid being taught, don't give unhoused people money. They're going to buy drugs. How many of you guys have ever been responsible for someone else's actions? You're not responsible for what they do with your compassion. You're responsible for being compassionate, right? And that's something I had to unlearn and restart building those neural pathways. Jesus doesn't ask for everything. He asks for what's already here. The miracle comes through that sharing, and no one is sent away. So like I said at the beginning, I'm naming the sermon, What's in Your Hands? What do you have right now? What skills, what time, what energy can you invest in other people? And what kind of presence can you start to work towards? Stewardship as a practice for Meizon is pretty cool. One of the things I love about what we do is every dollar that comes into this church, 10% of it goes into a pot. And I think those of you who are here normally would maybe be surprised by that. Like, we have a pot of money that cannot be spent on operations, salaries, anything. It can only be spent on compassion efforts with our compassion partners or out in the community, and we don't want to keep it. We want to spend it, right? And so if you look at, oh, that's really tiny up there, but if you look at, these are the 12 partners that we have official partnerships with that are on our website. I would encourage you to go to our website, MeizonChurch.com, and look into these. But La Famille Foundation in Haiti, Mescal's Children's Center of Hope in Kenya, the Week of Compassion, which is disaster relief and humanitarian response, RIP Medical Debt, RIP Medical Debt, how cool of a name is that? Helping people with their medical debt, Rescue, a support for families impacted by incarceration, LGBTQ plus community support and resources at the Pride Center, Ronald McDonald House, housing and support near hospitalized kids, Gainesville Community Ministry, emergency help for people in crisis, Helping Hands Clinic, healthcare for the homeless and poor, Gainesville Big Band, who'll be performing today, right? Hope you guys can stay for that. Community music and arts enrichment, Peaceful Paths, support for survivors of domestic violence, Anew, restoring lives impacted by trafficking and exploitation. And that's just who we support financially, right? We have a shed out back that you guys all bring your clothes, and we support with lightly used clothes. We have a little grocery cart. I think people walk in and go, what the heck is that? That's for the Santa Fe Food Bank. So every time you come in, just bring a couple more, cans of food with you. And what can we do with our space? We have AA that meets here, and NA that meets here, and, Boy Scouts, and we have art camp that meets here, and all these different things that we use our space for. But what I want you to hear out of this is we don't want to keep being the ones programming that compassion. We're going to keep doing this. Every 10% of every dollar is going to keep going to these people and to other people around the world that need to be helped. But giving must be intentional, and we want to equip you. We want to equip us that compassion can't be an afterthought or based on emotions, like I said. How many of you guys get a paycheck? How many of you have taxes taken out of your paycheck before you even see it? What about insurance? Social Security, that we're never going to see if you're my age, right? All these things taken out of your paycheck before you ever see the money. One thing that Tyler, and this is not to talk about us, but something we had to do was we always were thinking, oh, we want to support those people, and we want to support them. And you think about it, and it's really exciting in the moment, and if you don't do it in the moment, what happens? You hear about them 3 months later, and you're like, oh, I really want to support them, and then you hear about it, right? So we had to start programming, scheduling money to come out of our paycheck before we ever saw the money. And it would go, I started a nonprofit in Haiti years ago, and now money from our paycheck goes directly to the bank account for that organization. It's called Life Growth Community Incorporated in Haiti, and it supports 2 orphanages. And that is like out of sight, out of mind. It's programmed into my life now, right? With our kids, we have allowances that go to them, and a percentage of that allowance goes to an account called giving. They can't touch it, they can't move it out, they can't use it with their debit card, nothing. Every couple months, we decide with them where that money is going to go to help other people. It's programmed. It's just intentional. And I just want to encourage you guys, little things like that, or like, How many of you see the same unhoused person on the way to work every day? Right? Margining in an extra 10 minutes to get them a coffee and breakfast. Right? Margining in taking cash, because I never carry cash, right? Margining in some of these really, really intentional little things to be able to bless other people. Stewardship is deciding what you won't cling to. So I'm just going to go through some pictures here and just show you guys a little bit about compassion being real and simple. Obviously, we have a lot of, this is actually our boss. I asked for her permission to use this picture, but her partner had caught a picture of her just coming down to the level of an unhoused person here in Gainesville. And I think what really hit me with this picture is I used to train people on parenting, believe it or not. And one of the main points that I would do is I would say, hey, if you are up here and you're talking down to your child, it's not going to work, right? It might work as an authoritarian, but it's not going to work as a friend, as a parent, right? But if you come down here and you look them in the eyes and you talk to them and you explain what you're thinking about with what they just did, or ask them to explain, right? There's this bond that's created that moves to the next level of your relationship. It's the same thing with anybody out in our community. If you can get on their level, whatever that actually means. The next picture is of just my husband playing with our kids. You know, I think a lot of times we think compassion is just what we do for people we don't know. Heck no. Compassion is a daily thing. It's margining time. You know, those of you who know I'm so busy, I have to consciously think, okay, my 17-year-old is going to need at least an hour of talk time. Where can I fit that into my day, right? Or my 5-year-old is sick and I need to cuddle with her, or whatever. We haven't played Uno in a while. We haven't played soccer in a while. Whatever it is, it's margining in that time. The next one is of somebody who helped me with a car that I don't know. I never got his name. Just stopped on the side of the road one day when I was having some issues. I took a picture. I never knew it was going to be for service. I did not get consent. Sorry if you're here. But just that, it just really touched me that somebody would just stop and help me with my car because it was their expertise. It was something that they could build margin into their life to share something they knew about. The next one is my grandmother who passed away this past year. You know, we took some time to go up to Pennsylvania and visit with her and feed her and love on her, and Ben was there with us. And, you know, I now work at an elder law firm, and so we meet a lot of elderly people. And it's a whole different kind of calling, y'all, to go into these facilities and to love on people in their last days. And I will tell you one thing that our boss actually just put out on TikTok was she did a reel encouraging people that older people usually are alone on Valentine's Day. So get them some flowers. Get them a card. What's it going to cost you? $5? Go and visit them. What's it going to cost you? 20 minutes? That's as long as they're like the whole conversation starts over 20 minutes from now. So, right? It's being intentional with that time that you have and with your money. This one, Sarah, I didn't get consent for this one either. Sorry, Sarah. But just, you know, I saw this picture in my reel and I was like, man, like, how do I capture the essence of how it makes me? I cried so much looking at this picture. You have no idea. Because it's just the heart of who we are as a church. Your kids are my kids. We are a village building up this next generation together, and that is so not normal, right? You know what's so crazy about the whole Obama thing? That should be normal, right? All of this that we're talking about today, it should be normal, but it's beat out of us for years and years and years of a society that's individualistic and not community-driven. Do I have any others up there? Oh yeah, this is another friend of ours, Emmett. And like I said, you know, figure out your niche, figure out your call. But his niche, I would say, is that he loves fish and reptiles and amphibians. And I do not. but my children do. And he knew this, and he would just invite us over. Like, we had a fish tank. Some of you have been at our house. I broke it and killed them on accident. But we had a fish tank for several years that he kept stocked. He would come over and be like, oh, a couple more died. I'll bring you some more. You know, or they would eat the snails or something. He'd be like, I'll bring the other ones with harder shells. Like it was just funny. But his compassion toward my children, who really, he didn't have to do that, but that has impacted their life, and it has taught them. And I think I can say this, he's a trans man. And for my kids to see that kind of compassion coming from someone who has not been shown that in the world is powerful. Any others up there? Oh yeah, this is Brian and David. I didn't get consent for this one either, but you know, I can say this because I very much experience it. It is really hard to host a family of 11 for lunch. But you know, just being intent, one of the things we've been trying to do lately is take somebody after church every Sunday back home with us to have lunch with us. And it's such a simple thing. You're gonna eat anyway. But the bonds we've been able to create with some of you in the room that have come to our house and broken bread with us, the compassion they share just having us, you don't know what the kids are going to do. You don't know what's going to break. You don't know. It doesn't matter, guys. What does that all matter in the big scheme of things, right? And I have to wrap up because I'm way past time. Okay, so, sorry. Okay, so even if it takes selfish reasons to rewire your brain, it's worth rewiring. Even if it takes a tax write-off to strengthen the neural pathways of giving money away, our government, with all its flaws, still gives us a write-off if we help other people. Isn't that crazy? Right? If it's donating at church, if it's doing, you know, if it's wanting to get the dopamine high when you give something away. Use that selfish desire to rewire your brain to be more compassionate in the world. Okay, so this last thing that Joe was alluding to, we have this pot, right, for compassion, and the band can come up, and my lovely helpers, ladies and Ted, we are, I had to, he's straight and a male, I can't say ladies about him. But we decided as a core team, as church, as a stewardship team, that we're gonna flip the script back on you as the congregation, and I'm really excited about this. We took money out of our compassion fund that came from 10% of everything you've given over the last several months, and we're gonna commission you with $20 bills in these little envelopes to go out into the world, and the only rule is you can't spend it on yourself. You've gotta take this money that we have been outsourced to bless people with and bring it back to you to go ahead and show compassion. And it can be anything. It can literally, and we want your kids to take it too. We want, when you come up the aisle, I want you to, on your hand, tell me how many. Like if it's 2 adults and 2 kids, put 4 up. The music's gonna be playing, but we want everybody to participate. Doesn't matter if you call this your home or not, we planned ahead. Imagine that, scheduled in some time to margin it. But we just want you guys to be able to take this money from our compassion fund and go out into Gainesville and make a difference in somebody's life, whether it's the unhoused person you pass on the way to work, whether it's margin that you would need to bless somebody in your family. We want, you guys know, if you're close to anybody in this community, you probably know somebody in our community that could use help, right? We want you to go out there and be the hands and feet of Jesus, using the money that you gave to the church, right? And I will say that we are probably, if I could sum up everything we talked about today, it's really about people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? And a lot of us want to explain things away, but if they don't feel that care in your heart, they don't care, right? All right, so I'm going to pass these out here, and we want to do it like communion. You need to come down the center aisle. We want all of you to participate if you can. Come down the center aisle. If you have kids in children's church, put your hand up. We don't want to create a traffic jam, so make sure you're keeping it moving. But we want to charge you with this as we go into the world this week.
respond to the broken. Your hands are quick to save. Make us like you, Lord. You walk with the forgotten and offer them a home, adopting the unwanted and calling them your own. Make us like you, Lord. Make us like you, Lord. Oh, give us your heart. Oh, give us your heart. Let the light of heaven shine as we step into the dark. Oh, give us your heart. Oh, give us your heart. All to see your kingdom come and death depart. Oh, give us your heart. Oh, give us your heart. You walk with the forgotten and offer them a home, adopting the unwanted and calling them your own. Make us like you, Lord. Make us like you, Lord. Make us like you, Lord. Oh, give us your heart. Oh, give us your heart. Let the light of heaven shine as we step into the dark. Oh, give us your heart. Oh, give us your heart. All to see your kingdom come and death depart. Oh, give us your heart. Oh, give us your heart. Let justice flow like a river in the desert. Let the nations know that you will reign forever as the earth beholds the glory of the Savior. Let justice flow. Let justice flow like a river in the desert. Let the nations know that you will reign forever as the earth beholds the glory of the Savior. Let justice flow. Oh, give us your heart. Oh, give us your heart. Let the light of heaven shine as we step into the dark. Oh, give us your heart. Oh, give us your heart. Let the light of heaven shine as we step into the dark. Oh, give us your heart. Oh, give us your heart. All to see your kingdom come and death depart. Oh, give us your heart. 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 Let justice flow like a river in the desert. Let the nations know that you will reign forever as the earth beholds the glory of the Savior. Let justice flow.
Just real fast, not to keep you any longer. As you do this with the envelopes and you hand those things out, one thing that I think we would love to hear are the stories. So if you're willing to share those, like email us, message us on Facebook or something, and just kind of share those stories so that we can then kind of share those collectively, right? And talk through that. The one thing that I do want to say about what Zach walked us through this morning is, especially when he had the thing where people like messaged in things that they were wanting to do, don't sit on that. And don't feel like that you have to do it all yourself. I don't know how many know this, but my side job, I work with the Center for Nonprofit Excellence. Do you know how many places are already doing the things that all of you mentioned? They're already happening. And if you're really wanting to jump into that, reach out. We can connect you with places that are already doing that work. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like, there are people already doing these things that have compassion. All you got to do is just show up. They all need help. Every single nonprofit in town needs help, and you can help fill that need. So I'll just leave that with you. So again, you can message us, email us, all of those things. Let me go ahead and I don't want to forget, next week is our potluck. So come hang out and eat a lot of good. There's always great food, right? I mean, church people know how to cook food, you know what I mean? So that's next week. Don't forget that there is no youth group tonight. Next week we will meet back up and we'll be doing Valentine's Day games for the kids. So yes, and they will be Jewel My Head. So that's all part of it. That's been asked. So let me go ahead and read this benediction for you all, and we will get out of here and enjoy the Patriots losing and Bad Bunny. Right? Just a little. All right, here we go. May the God who meets us in the wild places go with you into the broken places. May Christ, whose heart was moved by crowds and outcasts, teach your hands to open, your feet to linger, and your life to bend toward mercy. May the Spirit breathe courage into your compassion, the kind that crosses boundaries, bears wounds, and refuses to look away. As you go, may your love be inconvenient, your welcome be wide, and your hope be as stubborn as the hills. Go in peace, to love fiercely, to stand gently, and to practice the holy work of radical compassion. Amen. And so it is. Have a great week, everybody.